Hello and welcome. You are watching Oge and my name is Iretiola. Now on today's show, we will continue with our highlight on young Nigerians who are putting aside their fears and doubts and continue to reinvent themselves. And by so doing, continue to reposition themselves and remain relevant in an ever-changing economy. Now, once again, today's edition is not only inspiring, our bid is to try and help you to open your minds and eyes to the amazing opportunities that abound. Now, let me ask, are you aware of the limitless opportunities that abound in the agro-allied industry? Our first feature today is on a young man who stepped out of his comfort zone to start a fish farm with little or no income. Find out how he managed to pull that off.
My name is Osiobe and I'm a farmer. Currently, we are actually into fish for now. So I can say I'm a fish farmer. Agriculture is really not something that is easy doing. You need a lot of time, you need a lot of work, you need a lot of energy, which also you need in other jobs. But agriculture is more intense because you have to probably go out of your comfort zone, meaning that probably it might take you out into Kebbi State or take you into Kaduna or take you into somewhere as deep as Jos. Climates are not really friendly. I want to be a chemical engineer, but I ended up computer engineering. And I loved playing with gadgets a lot. I love a lot of things doing. So, but it got to a point I was fed up with the routine. Leave your house very early in the morning, head to walk on the island, go through traffic, come back. The same routine every day. And to be honest, I wasn't paid that much. Leaving this job will be like a breather down my neck. This is an oil and gas job. Everybody's asking for this job. So I said, okay, fine. I could start my business still working, then watch it grow to a particular level, then quit. So which was what I did. And I started and I worked myself bit by bit, bit by bit. It was not easy heading to Ogun State, back to Lagos during the weekends. Whenever there's spare time, I just rush down. And I was setting up. But I had help basically from a friend who actually was based in Djibouti, who was also into fish farm. So that was where I was able to get mentorship and I was able to learn. And over time, I was able to have something substantial. At first, I had this idea that money was going to be everything for me because if I had money, I would resign today and start a business. But down the line, I've seen that money is basically not everything. Money is only the starting point. You don't actually need money to. First of all, you need to actually conceive the idea, let it birth itself through you. Then every other thing will draw itself. How do I start this business when I'm in Lagos State? What I did was I went to an environment where it was basically fish farming they were doing. So the structures were there, the lands were available, the security were there, the pathways were there, the road access were there. So I was not going to do all that again. When it started, it was very little. It was very little. And at that point, I was not thinking about the government or anybody anymore. I was just thinking of how can this business work? So I was asking questions. Since this environment, this association, this particular fish farming environment provides your security, you have to pay levy for that. So if all these are available, I can make use of it instead of me going to a new place where I really don't know about and start creating all these amenities for myself, for which I did. Leveraged on that information, leveraged on that facility, and that's how I was able to start without any hassles. What we're doing is that we started with fish, but we're going gradually into some few areas, poultry, snails, few of them. We're going to go into those sectors, but we're starting small and scaling up. No matter how crazy it might sound, there's something on the inside that is yearning for expression. I always tell every young person to always look inwards and feel free and let it flow. Don't hinder yourself. I think access to wrong information is one of the things that have affected we young Nigerians. We think what we are trying to get is what is going to be sustainable for us, but in the long run, it's actually damaging our image. Trying to play with information in the right manner, in the right way, will actually help in increasing productivity for a young Nigerian. You have to have a sense of delayed gratification. You can't just have everything now. Just try, relax, and everything will find expression in you over time. She's hardworking. they're doing so much to gain acceptance, but the climate is not accepting them here in the country, Nigeria. I feel they're trying to do enough, but the environment is not aiding them. If I should do one thing that would fix Nigeria, that would be having the right people to man every position in country. My personal philosophy in life is always to remain joyful.
Interesting, no? Okay, now our next feature is on a young lady who is a consultant in the agro-allied industry. On this show, not only do we tell you what to do, but we try to help you and show you how to do it. Pay attention, you might just learn something new.
My name is Aderonke Aderinoye, founder Agro Hub Nigeria. Agro Hub Nigeria is an agribusiness company that seeks to connect players across the agribusiness value chain, so farmers to consumers, farmers to input producers and things like that. We're also focused on building capacity of individuals seeking to do stuff in the agri sector. I'm very passionate about agriculture because I believe we have everything it takes as a nation to feed the world. And a lot is going to waste. And we need to begin to take responsibility of the type of future we want to live for our children. If nothing is done now, there's a potential food crisis going to happen. And so I looked within myself and said, if I knew this much and I was passionate this much about this, I need to begin to educate as many young people as I come across, so that in the future no one goes hungry. A lot of the evil going on in the society now is as a result of hunger. People are hungry. People go to bed hungry. And this should not be. We are surrounded with so many resources. You drop a seed in the ground and it will grow without touching it. So why should we be hungry as a nation? So those are the things that drove me into the sector. Agriculture is a very patient business. It teaches you patience. Your return on investment doesn't come in 2 weeks or 6 months or in 1 year. It's something that you have to build over time. But when you get to that point, you can actually rest. Then again, it requires a lot of hard work. And a lot of also dirty work, because you have to put your hand in the soil, you have to do some tough work, which a lot of young people also are not interested in. Aside from that, the methods and ways we have always practiced agriculture as a nation is not attractive. So you still have a lot of subsistence farming, a lot of people still using crude tools and methods to farm. If you go to other countries, a lot of technology is being applied to farming, use of tractors, irrigation, timing when the farm is watered. You can even some farms, you can remotely control from wherever you are and things are running. So we need to get to that stage as a nation. And so when we get there, maybe more young people will be attracted to the sector. There's a lot in the logistics space for the agri sector. There's a lot in the storage and warehousing space. There's a lot also in capacity building, letting people know what the right things, what the new technologies, what should be done in the space that is not being done. When you want to go into the agri sector, don't start by going to buy land. That's the last place you should go to. You should start by understanding the market and trying to create a market for processed and finished products. Because if you go and plant, you're going to lose everything before you get to the market. So what do I mean? So you have maybe cassava in your village. How can you process it to gari? How can you process it to gari that doesn't have sand? How can you process it to gari that has different flavors? I'm looking forward to when we have strawberry gari. I don't see anything wrong with having different variants and varieties of gari. I'm looking forward to when we have people that can come up with packaging our local products in such a way that anyone in the world will want to eat it. Why is everyone trying to eat pizza in Nigeria? It's Italian. Why can't we package our local foods like amala or something or ogi in a way that the Germans want to consume it or the Italians also want to consume it? Every profession you can think of has a space in the agri sector. Something as interesting as photography. If we Google online and try to find things like ugu, okra, or African farmers online, you never see pictures or stock images that you can buy to set up your website or do a promotional ad. We don't have enough photographers documenting things we have in the agri sector. This is a huge industry. So people are willing to pay $1 for as many pictures as they're willing to produce, because there's a huge attention for the agri sector in Africa, but there are not enough pictures to match that attention. So that's space. When you talk about the legal part, lawyers interested in agriculture, not enough people understand the dynamics of the agricultural sector. So there are very few lawyers that know how to write contracts for agricultural transactions. When we talk about taxation, the same thing. Accountants, not too many people know stuff about the agri sector because the agri sector is peculiar. You don't run it like you run other businesses. Every crop has its own cycle, has its own peculiarities in running as a business. So all these things need to be put in place when you're actually going to do an advisory, accounting, planning, marketing, everything within the agri. So if you're coming into the agri space, you're not limited to being a farmer. You can be a processor, converting our local, because there's no product you can convert to something else. We hold sessions regularly to connect people. We also have a database of individuals across the sectors so if you send in a request, I'm trying to find somebody in this space, or I'm trying to find somebody in that space, we do that. But what we've been trying to do in the last few months, thematic sessions on various pieces. So agribusiness marketing, what does it entail? Logistics and transport, what does it entail? Processing, what does it entail? Packaging, what does it entail? So those are various areas we have sessions to show people what opportunities are abound and how they can plug into it. Everyone is trying to make money for the now. Everyone is trying to think of what are the long-term ways we can build businesses, sustainable businesses that could outlive us, as well as how can we build a collective as a group and not as individuals. So because a lot of us are working as silos, we are not having the amount of traction we need, especially in this sector. So those are the things that young people need to work on. If there was one thing I could do to fix this country, I would ensure we're able to feed ourselves as a nation and also feed the world. 3 reasons why any young person should get involved in the agri space. There's huge potential. You have the first mover's advantage at this point. And 3, there are a lot of opportunities in terms of funding and support in the sector that you can receive at this point. So my personal philosophy of life is I was put on this earth for a purpose, and so many destinies are tied to this purpose. So I constantly live my life conscious of the fact that I need to fulfill, by all means, the purpose for which I was put on this earth.
Now, our third and final feature on today's show is on a gentleman named Femi, who has found a very interesting way to feed his love for cooking and turn it into another stream of income. It's a pretty interesting story.
My full name is Femi Ashiru, and I guess sometimes in Nigeria they'll say engineer Femi Ashiru, but I don't call myself that. And I have a brand called Uncle Femi's Rustic Kitchen. So by day, I'm a software engineer. I run a software company. I run 2 software companies. At night, I drop my laptop, I pick up my chef's jacket, and I become Uncle Femi. When I graduated from university in England, I worked for different companies for about 6 years. And then when I moved to Nigeria in 2008, I set up my own company. At the time, was called ISIS Solution. The Uncle Femi brand started off because when my wife was pregnant, I was staying with her. We were staying with her in-laws, with her cousin, so my in-laws in Atlanta. And their grandmom was around at the time, and she used to cook. And she used to cook this smoked turkey. To say I hated it would be an understatement. So I asked my wife if I could, if her cousin will mind if I actually just made some food, but I'll make for everyone. And she's like, well, of course, no, she won't mind, she will love it. So I then started cooking for them. And then it became a thing, so I then cooked for them. So I took over the cooking role in their house. And then her sons would be like, oh, Uncle Femi, can we have the curry tonight? Or Uncle Femi, can we have this? And that's how that name came about. The difference, it's basically born of my experiences, my culinary experience. When I was in university, I used to cook a lot, but I get bored very easily. So I started with Chinese food, I moved to Indian food, I moved to Thai food, I moved to European food, Italian, French. And so what you would sample would be a combination of that, either a single dish or a fusion of, say, North African and French or something like that, or Thai and Indian. So that's the difference. The way Uncle Femi's Kitchen runs is that we are a pop-up kitchen. So we essentially pop up from time to time. It's been an average of about every 3 months. We hosted events at a local restaurant. We got into the food circuit to showcase our brand a bit more. Because what I found is that it was a case of basically trying to get more people to experience the food and trying to get a wider set of people. So we then took part in different food festivals, Taste of Lagos, Fiesta Flavors, the Lagos Yacht Club, and the third one, I've forgotten now which one it was. And we prepared some of our signature dishes for those occasions, so more people could basically have the food, sample the food. And then when we have our next event, which will probably be around January, hopefully we should get a bigger audience or a bigger selection of people who'll be more interested in sampling food. So this all started from me hosting my friends' family and cousins in my home, basically probably like once a month and so. And once a month I'll try different recipes out or bring some of my old dishes that I liked. And my people, my support system kept on saying that, you need to take this to a wider audience. You need to get more people to experience this. It's not easy to find good quality food in Lagos at a decent price. So it's not that you can't find the food, you can. But then I don't want to charge you 30K just because you want to eat my food. I think that basically if you pay, say, about 10,000 for a 4 or 3-course meal, it should be sufficient. I also still have my day job, so it's not a case that I had nothing to do. I would say Uncle Femi's Rustic Kitchen started off as a hobby to see where it's going to go and to see whether there's an interest in it. But then the end objective, it's still a business. I'd say my own opinion is mixed. To me, I always say Nigeria is the promise of the entrepreneur. And that's what we're all sold on. We're sold on the fact that you can do this thing. You come to Nigeria, you have this idea, you have this business or something you do, and you can just strike big and make it rich. We're too focused on that end of striking big and make it rich. We're still focused on rich, 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 rich. We're not focused on value, on lifestyle, on basically legacy. So I think that the problem is that on the one hand, we can be very entrepreneurial, innovative, and so forth, and how can I say, aggressive and striving to succeed. But the other hand, we're lacking in ethics, seriously lacking in ethics. So it shouldn't be so much about, I need to be rich. It should be more about, okay, what can I do? Yes, you should better yourself, but it shouldn't be to compromise your values whilst you're bettering yourself, or to have no values at all whilst you're bettering yourself. If I could do one thing to fix this country, I would basically convince people to be more honest with themselves. Style is knowing how to look good without necessarily following a trend. Pride, laziness, and lack of ethics. My advice to young Nigerians out there who want to start a business and feel as if there's so many impediments to them starting, either financial or lack of support, I would say ask yourself, what skills do you have right now? What do you have? Can you cook? Can you farm? I wouldn't say can you farm. Can you cook? Are you a stylist? Are you good with fashion? What are you good at? And basically do something small with that and gain some reputation for that and then grow with that. Don't think that you need all the cash to start off. A lot of times if you have it, you're probably just going to burn it and it won't come to nothing. It's better to start hungry than to start satisfied. I'd say be humble. Be humble, be kind. It's easier to be kind than to be rude and mean. Always try and learn. Be open to learning, be open to new ideas and new philosophies, and try and impact in a positive way your surroundings.
Now, contrary to what most people think, what you need first and foremost is not money. It's a great idea and a determination to take that first step. Ask questions, network, there's always someone out there to give you information and teach you how. Now, I'm going to be back soon with another interesting episode. Until then, let's stay safe and be kind to one another.